Hey everybody, got another projector. We have another Sim2. I really enjoy Sim2s. This one unfortunately is not mine though, so it's a lot nicer. This is a Sim2 Domino, I think it's a Domino D80. Very nice projector, very nice. You can see it's just built well. Nice black case, not going to reflect any light. Just disappears into your ceiling. You can see they have a twist lock mount here. Very nice mount. First thing we're going to do with this is take the bracket off. It's here for a cleaning and a lamp replacement. These are not exactly user replaceable lamps. I mean, they are. I mean, everything's user replaceable if you know what you're doing. And that's frustrating. I don't like how that came out. Get it back to where it was. There we go. Just gonna put a screwdriver to keep that. There we go. Might as well do the same thing on these guys. What I'm doing is there's a hole in the side that I'm just putting a screwdriver in. I'm not prying or anything. I'm just keeping this from turning. And then, come on, there we go, almost. There we go. And then that'll pop loose. Strange mount design. Never seen one of these. Okay, so we'll take the mount off, set that off to the side. And now we can see the bottom. There's the data plate. You got a little more info. 2008, 9 years old, made in Italy. Such a nice projector. The pictures on these, they're just so nice. And I always liked this, the carry handle. Back y'all out. There you go. They got this really cool little carry handle. You can see this probably hasn't been moved since it was installed. It came out of a clean room though. It's not very dusty. Okay, so the next step, make sure you're zoomed out, which you are. Oh, we can see where the infrared thingy was taped into place. There's some goo left. So the next step is take the top off. And the way the top comes off is through the back. We have a screw there, and a screw there, and then got a guy here and a screw there. So let's take out the bottom ones first. Does this reach? Yeah. One. Come on. Two. Oops. I'm gonna put that in low speed and take these guys out. Now I'll carefully flip it over and gently, oh so gently, pop the top cover loose. This is probably a $10,000 or $15,000 projector, so be extra careful. There you go. Now we're inside. There's this really nice molded, very nice molded cover. It's a polycarbonate with that sprayed on metal for RF shielding. Just everything's just done so nicely in these. And here's the inside. It actually looks a lot like my HT300. Same layout. Electronics back here. Ballast is down there. Power supplies here. Video boards are all back there. This one does have a color wheel. That's the optic assembly here. This thing, well, I'm not going to spin it because they have it set, but this knob lifts the lens up and down to get it aligned right. we're going in here. Interestingly, there is a screw missing. It looks like somebody else was in there before me. The lamp comes out inside there. So let me bring in a little bit closer. There we go. Not that screwdriver. Need a finer point. Use this guy, a little bit finer tip. And once these two screws are out, this whole, oh, gotta get that one. That's right. They all don't have this last screw that I can't get with that screwdriver. I have to use this one. It's a strange spot, but hey, I didn't design it. So now this whole fan, temperature sensor, this whole thing should lift out. It's going to take a little wiggling. I don't know if it's ever been out. If they've never been out, they're always a little tighter. And just, there we go. It's coming now. And now it's out. There you go. That's the lamp. Or the bulb. And there's the bulb in the carrier. Let's get that out of the housing. Set that down out of the way. And this is the bulb here. This is an Osram. Wow, this is an old one. This must be the original bulb. It says made in Czech Republic. Osram hasn't made bulbs in Czech Republic since, I don't know, 2009, 2010, 2012. It's been a while. They used to say Belgium too. Now they all say China. The internals, the burner, the arc tube, that's made in Europe still. But the final assembly and reflectors are all made in China. So if you're into Osram lamps, you're only going to get them from China unless somebody has new old stock with a Czech or Belgian bulb. Now this bulb has been run well past its useful life. I don't know if you guys can make that out. I'll zoom in. Maybe it'll be a little clearer. That arc tube. See how it's all gray and bubbled? You're seeing the reflection in there. This, if you were to look at it, it should be straight like this. It's actually tilted. And it's tilted because of the way it was hanging. So it was in the projector like this, but on the ceiling it's like that, with this side facing down. So that globe back in there where the arc points are gets really hot, and it's full of gas. So as it gets hot, the gas expands, and since it's hanging down, it's going to distend that way. And once that happens, the arc points can't sustain an arc anymore, and it might even be cracked. I might take it out, might not. But more importantly, it's time to take the bulb out. Now, the new bulbs do have connectors, but I don't want to have to disconnect the connector. You have to, oops, let's see if I can show you. The in the back, in here, is where the connector goes. Yeah, so I'd have to pull that out and deal with all that. And I'm just going to leave that be. I'm just going to change the wires at the bulb. That'll be the best way to handle this. So we'll put that screw over there. And then we'll take that screw, and I'm going to tie this wire back on itself so that I know that was the wire that came off this side of the bulb. Now with AC bulbs it's not as critical, but it's still good to put it back exactly how you took it apart. Another screw out of the way. Now I'm going to move the projector and so that we can just work on the lamp. One moment. So now it's just the lamp, and we are going to take the old bulb out before we put the new bulb in, because it'd be really hard to put the new bulb in with the old bulb still there. So I'm sure you can figure out on your own. Work smarter, not harder. Okay, now keep in mind, these washers, for whatever reason, spacing I'm assuming, are being installed under the clip. This clip squishes the reflector in. So I'm imagining for spacing, that's why they're doing that, because they are lock washers, so it's strange to have a lock washer acting as a spacer, but hey, if it works, it works. So I'm going to slide that bracket out, and I can pull the bulb out, because it's got that, let me see, I'll tilt it up and you can see it, that piece goes inside the bulb. So there we are, there's a up close and personal view of the distended arc tube. I will, sometimes you can pop these fronts off real easy, but I'm not going to bother. The customer might, I don't know, want this. It's not technically mine, it's theirs, so I'm not going to wreck it. So let me get the new bulb and we'll pop the new bulb in. And now we got a bulb to put in. Now, being that Osram no longer makes these, the only option is a Philips bulb. Now, my opinion, which is echoed by others, is that Philips is a much better bulb. My experience, I've seen that Philips bulbs tend to perform better over their rated life. This is the Philips. It's a 92813560530, a 200 watt 1.0 arc gap. The original is also a 200 watt 1.0 arc gap. So you can see it's essentially the same thing, but these are a little better in my opinion. You know, I'm sure everybody has their preference, but I just like these. So then I slide it in, set it down, get that bracket in a position, and then the unusual washer setup of stacking. Yeah, this is weird. Focus, there we go. That's where they're putting the washer. Here, I'll zoom in actually. There we are, up, autofocus, on. So next, let's get that ready. All right, that one's down. Actually, I don't need these gloves now. Now though, I'm going to keep these on in case I need to touch that front of that bulb. Now, a misnomer is that, pardon me, a misnomer is that touching any part of a bulb is bad for it. It's not true. And that's the last one. So they are all in. Bulb is nice and snug. Zoom you all back out. And you can see there is no difference between the two. I think these just give off a nicer light too. So next, I have to clean the projector. So I'm going to go and take it to the air compressor area where I clean everything and just give it a blowing out. It's really clean. I'll show you guys. It's am I out all the way? there's usually a dirty projector. We'd see dust in here and in here, and I mean, you can see you can't even see my finger wiping across that, so that's pretty good. But I'm going to give it just a good blast of air anyway, so that there's no question that it's clean. Be right back. There we go, nice and clean. So next is to start putting her back together. I'm going to connect the lamp wires first. Get the lamp screws. There they are. And these I'm going to put back in by hand so that they do not get over tightened. And remember, we marked this wire so that I know it goes to this terminal. There we go. There's one wire. And the other wire. But as I was saying before, there's a bit of a misnomer about touching bulbs. The big problem with incandescent bulbs, this kind, that actually have a filament, is if you touch the outside, where you touch will cause the glass to expand and contract at a different rate because of your finger oils. Plus it can cause spots. Oops. These run even hotter. If you touch this area, it'll actually burn the oil into the glass and you'll see spots. Touching the back, this reflector area, doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm going to wipe this one off before I put it back in, but it's not as critical. You're more or less safe handling them back here. Your projector shouldn't be running that hot where it'll make that much of a difference. But like I said, just for doing it nicely, I am going to get a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just kind of give it a wiping. And I'm also going to wipe the front of the glass because that is a lens that Sim2 puts in. It's a dichroic filter. It has a UV IR block. So after wiping that down, I'm going to get a Kim wipe, optical Kim wipe, and just give it a good swirling just to get all that. Yep, looks good. Alright, so we'll set that there. Let's lift the carrier out. And this is always a little fidgety. What I like to do is set the carrier down so that the plastic lines up with where the screws are going to go. That's a little far forward. Come on, you. There we go. Let's get it lined up. Then I pull the wires back down past that Nomex paper, that Nomex impregnated paper. If all goes well, I should be able to slide it back down. A piece of metal flashing. There we go. It just kind of drops in. It takes a little finagling. Come on. It's always hard just to get these that last little bit. That's not quite down. There we go. Now it's down, or it should be down. You'll feel it kind of just snapping. Not snap, but actually if you feel it snap, that's bad. You should feel it just kind of drop. Yeah, there we go. Oop, no, pulled it up. See, it has two, there's a pin there and a pin there it has to line up with. And once those pins are lined up, these two screws can go back in. Now I'm not 100% sure this is seated all the way because it looks a little crooked. So I'm going to put these in. Actually, I'm going to show you guys something else. I forgot this model does that. The older models, both screws held that in. But because of the problems with getting all this back into place, they have done this. Come on. There we go. Slide the wires out. So now we can actually see. So let me loosen this one up because I don't think that's sitting down all the way. There was a slight gap here. So what I'm going to do is take that out and then, yeah, there we go. Much better. That's what I want to see. You can see that's a good old fan down there. That'll keep this bulb nice and cool. And it's crazy, the Sim2 I have at home only has a 120 watt bulb in it, and boy, it's got a nice picture. It's plenty bright too. I'm not sure what the lumen is. I think it's like 800 lumens on that one. This one's probably like 2000. I have to look it up. But it's amazing the the picture quality and color rendering they get out of these without having a super bright lamp. Now that goes back down, and now this goes back in. What really told me it wasn't in all the way was when I looked at that screw there, the hole wasn't lined up. There we are. And then the little screw. I guess that's more for grounding. And then the lamp connector. That looks good. I like that. I like that. All right. So that's good to go. But, of course, we always turn it on first before we put the top back on. So I'm going to straighten up a little bit, and let's put the camera on this side because my little makeshift screen's in front of me. Let's get some power. Power cord goes down there. Let me turn off this light. Turn the standby on. Let's see, is it booting up? Yeah, it looks like it's good. And some of these you turn on by pressing up. Not this one. This one's power. No? Yeah, power. There we go. Ooh. Thing's got a noisy freaking fan. What fan is that? One of these has a really noisy fan. I don't know if it's the one over the lamp. Well, either way, picture's good. So now let's figure out what noisy fan that is. Oh, I can see it. Down the bottom. It's that lower lamp fan. Not entirely uncommon either. The thing does get cooked. Probably quiets down after it runs for a bit. Yeah, you can kind of hear the noise. I don't want to change the focus on this because they have it set for their home theater, so I'm going to leave that alone. Yep, hear the fan? Well, I'll see how much a fan is, and we'll see if they want to do it or if they just want to live with it. But for the meantime, let's turn it off. And then as soon as it cools down, I'll shut it down, and then I'm going to set the lid back on now, just to keep it protected. It's a very nice projector. I don't want anything to happen. Not that it would, but you know, safety first. There we are. We'll just set that on. Yeah, see, that's pretty noisy. I'm going to see about getting a fan for that. And then hopefully we can do a video on replacing a fan in this projector. So I'm going to call this the end of part 1. There might be a part 2. There might not be a part 2. Subscribe and you'll find out if there is a part 2. Or I guess you could check. But it'd be really cool if you subscribed. So thanks for watching, and leave a comment.